Anthony is with us. Anthony is in Syracuse, New York. Hey, Anthony, welcome to the EntreLeadership Podcast.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for taking the call.
Sure. How can I help?
So I own a residential remodeling company, and we currently have 9 team members, including myself. We did about $1.2 million in sales last year, and currently our company is having difficulty finding new team members that qualify for the trade. How do I factor training new hires into our budget and our timeline?
Difficult. There's a lot of people struggling with exactly the same thing, finding team members in almost any situation today. So I was talking about with Mike Rowe a minute ago. We're going to discuss some of that, but in an event we're going to do. But in the meantime, how do we help you do that? Just to tell you, everybody's facing that. Ramsey is facing that. We're finding the right people, getting them in the right seats on the bus, as Jim Collins says, getting the wrong ones off the bus, and so on. It's a constant flow and a constant thing. Now, what we look at is 2 things when we're bringing someone on. We look at what is the actual cash outlay? What checks do I have to write as a result of this person being here and I'm training them? For instance, in your case, maybe you have to set them up with a set of tools, okay?
Yeah.
So you've got some tool expense to put another person on the job because you can't put them out there with no tools, or maybe not. I don't know. But, I mean, I'm sure there's something. I've got to add them to our insurance. I've got to add them to our 401k plan. I've got to, and so there's going to be real, actual dollars leaving my pocket. Then there's the other type of dollars that leave our pocket that aren't actually cash expenditures, but it's more what we would call opportunity cost. And what that means is they're taking up space. Like in our case, if I put someone into a workstation inside Ramsey, I'm paying for that with that building, right? That many square feet. I got to cover the rent for that area that their little butt is sitting in. In your case, maybe if you add 5 people, you got to add a truck to haul them to the job site. I don't know, right? But but really you didn't buy them a truck, but you had to buy a truck because you were growing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So like when we hire like a new person in the field that doesn't know anything, they can basically just show up to the job and we can help them complete the task and show them how to do things. So it doesn't really cost much besides paying them, but then at the same time,
it does cost you. It does cost you because the guy showing them how to do something is working at 1/4 speed.
Yeah, correct.
If you left him alone, he didn't have to stop and train somebody. He could have done 3 or 4 times more work. Training takes more time than doing the work. Agreed?
Yes, sir.
And so that's not a cash outlay, but you've got a loss in productivity with your training guy that otherwise would have been working, because you don't have people that just do training. You got a guy that knows how to do 3 different types of trades, and he's in there doing those trades in this remodel. And because he's got to stop and show somebody who's never wired a plug or never driven a nail how to do it, or how to properly cut a piece of trim and work it into the corner, right? Miter it, and so he's got to stop and show somebody else how to do it. It slows him down. That's what I mean by it's not a cash outlay, but it is a cost because it slows things down. So what I would do is attempt both. I kind of would make 2 columns when I'm hiring somebody. What do I actually have to write checks for? New tools, whatever it is, to insurance. And the day they start, they cost me X number of dollars, okay? In our case, we buy them a computer, okay? So it costs me a computer, that kind of stuff. So then the second column is, what are they costing me in lost productivity because we have to slow down to train them? And so you say, all right, I've got one of my top guys here who's going to be working at half speed for 3 weeks. So that's going to cost me about X. And you just but that's not really something you have to put in your budget. You've just got to plan your jobs a little different, and the job's going to take a little longer or require more other skilled team members because one of your guys is slowing down to train somebody. So it's not really like a budget. It's not a budget line item. It just changes the structure of how that job gets accomplished until that newbie gets trained up. Is that logical?
Would I not have because I was looking at having a budget line for training. So like say,
well, do you pay somebody to train them?
Technically, yeah, because the person is slowing down to help that person.
I know, but you're not writing a check.
No.
So how is that a budget line?
It's just regular cost of labor then.
Yeah, it's just you're refactoring your job estimate while that trainee is on that job because you've got some lost productivity. But it's not technically a job line. Now, what I do like to do is add all of those things up occasionally, because we know around here when we hire somebody and we put their butt in a seat, by the time they've been here 6 months, we've put about $100,000 in them to get them in the door and get them in the seat. We know that. So when someone leaves after they've been here for a year, we talk about, we've lost $100,000 on them. Because for the first 6 months, they don't really do any work that's of any value anyway, hardly. I mean, it takes a little while to get people moving at whatever they do. So that's what you're focusing on. You look at your turnover cost is what that's for. But to run your budget, you're running a job estimate at a little different speed than if there wasn't a trainee on the job that's slowing the job down. And so that changes the job budget a little bit, but it's not technically a training line item unless you're paying cash to someone to do the training. And then it would be a budget line item to do that. But we don't do that here. We're just pulling a leader up beside them, mentoring them, discipling them, someone in the discipline, showing them how to do that. And of course, we've got HR people that are a line item, but they're not a line item for training. They're onboarding people because, you got to show people where the bathroom is. You got to show them how to get signed in for all the different insurances, all the junk, and get people onboarded. And that takes a little bit of time. And, we actually have to pay payroll to cause that to happen at our size. But where there's 9 or 10 of you, Anthony, by the way, you're in a great business. Remodeling, it's an excuse to bail money. It's just, if you will simply show up on time, do the work on time in high quality, you can charge almost anything. And you have almost no competition because no one shows up on time, does high quality work on time. Show up when you say you're going to show up. Don't dramatically overcharge. Don't rip people off. Tell the truth. Stay on the job until the freaking job is done. Do quality work, and you won't be able to beat customers off with a stick. You're gonna make, your $1.2 million is going to be 2.4 before you know it.